Hi there, people. This is Pray Love, and I'm going to talk about a sample I've received. It's one of the samples I reviewed in my samples review video, a big like horde of sample review. This one is Continuum by Tumi, if you haven't seen it on screen. And like on the actual title of the video. So this one is Continuum by Tumi, and it's completely fantastic. So, how could I put it very simply? Take like tobacco vanille from Tom Ford and remove the vanilla but put tonka bean instead. And as you know, tonka bean actually smells a bit like vanilla. It has a more caramel, more almost bubblegummy vibe, and it can have a slight citrusy vibe too. It's like a very complex note, but it's like there's some top end of that ingredient that you can use too. Um, I've covered that in my video about like this fragrance that just smells like tonka bean. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting ingredient to put, and it's very strong. It projects a lot, and it's very powerful. So it's a bit like that. It's a tobacco centric scent. It really smells like a nice cigar. You know that kind of vibe. It has that cherry like quality that tobacco vanille has, and it has that bubblegum sweetness from the tonka bean that could be reminiscent of Code Profumo or Code Absolu from Armani. That is like my take on it. It's like kind of a mix off between Maison Margiela Jazz Club, Tobacco Vanille, Code Profumo, perhaps like Dolce Gabbana, the one that kind of like very warm spicy scents that are very very sexy. It's like the primary reasons we wear that. No, not really, but yeah, I really like to like smell sexy. But anyway, this fragrance is amazing, and it's not too sweet. It has that load of tobacco. It has that super nice depth to it. It's very like intense. There's tons of things going on in that fragrance, and it's simply amazing. So that's my that's like what I could be telling you, but it's like it's a bit like tobacco vanille, and my wife, who like she just loves the hell out of that fragrance. She's just like, it's amazing. The first time she smelled it, I was going to bed, and she was like going for a hug, and she was like, "Oh, what are you wearing?" And she was like, "This is awesome." And she was like pressing further on because it smells just so amazing. And yeah, my wife really likes when I wear tobacco vanille. And I was like, "Don't you think it like what do you think it smells like?" And she was like, "Oh, you know that high-end Tom Ford fragrance you have that you always wear during the winter?" I was like, "Tobacco vanille?" "Oh yeah, that's it." No, but she knew, but she like had the same idea that I had, that it actually smelled somewhat similar to tobacco vanille, but it's like very like cheaper. Tobacco vanille is very pricey if you go to full retail price, and I think the Tumi one is like 110 for a 100 ml and 80 for a 50 ml, so it's like very affordable. Um, it says that they have developed a anti-habituation technology that makes it ultra long lasting. Is it true? Well, it does last a whole bunch of time. And when you wake up in the morning, the same thing arrives. Like when you wear tobacco vanille, this is such a powerful scent. It's very very powerful. Then you wake up in the morning and you have that sweet vanilla, and it's super super nice, and it's very classy and elegant. I really like it. For the Tumi one Continuum, it's the tonka bean. When you wake up, you have that super nice whole extension of the tonka bean from the most top, a bit citrusy tonka, which is a bit bubblegummy, the mid kind of Idion like very seductive tonka, and the base like sweet vanilla like tonka. It's amazing. For real, waking up the day after you've worn that fragrance, it's super nice. I was really amazed, and it does like you never get nose blind to it. For some reason, I was like everywhere I went, I was like, "Oh, this is nice." I was always smelling that super super nice Uh, very, very sexy and spicy and kind of complex fragrance. I was really surprised because the other fragrance I've smelled by them was Atlas, which is kind of a Bleu de Chanel Invictus, kind of a blue fragrance that is a bit like nondescript, but kind of really nice, like in its own way. But it it wasn't super interesting for me. But this one, oh my god, this one is like, it just goes a total different path from any other fragrance, like designer brands. They just go elsewhere. They're like, I'm not interested in doing another blue fragrance. I'm just gonna do and a warm fragrance that just smells like the one. No, no, I'm gonna aim for the top. You know, they're aiming for tobacco vanille or like this kind of high class, high sense. Like it's amazing. But in fact, it's not just like tobacco vanille. So if you're willing to get a tobacco vanille clone, this is not a clone. This is something that has a similarity because of the tobacco. It's really well done, because of the cherry-like quality of all the ingredients mixed together. But it still has, like, it remains a fragrance that is perhaps a bit more like that kind of a DNA, very dense, very thick, but also the bubblegummy, very pleasing, sexy, mass appealing DNA from the one Code Profumo, etc., which is a warm, addictive, very like sensual fragrance. And that's pretty much what it is. It's kind of like a I was looking so long for a Code Profumo that's just more grown up and more sexy to my taste, because I think that it's nice to have like that elegance, that edge, you know, that class. But this one is still less elegant than Tobacco Vanille, which is like, um, I really like to wear it at any occasions, but it's kind of hard to like pull off when you're just like that, like wearing sport jackets and stuff. Whereas Continuum still has that youthful, playful vibe that Tobacco Vanille perhaps doesn't have, in favor of like being more elegant, even more dressed up. But it's like both are aiming at their own thing, but it's still, Continuum is elegant as hell. It's super sexy, and I think it's pretty wearable at any occasion. I've worn this like right now, it's summer, and I've discovered it like last week, and I've worn it a couple of times, and it just works amazingly in high heat. Amazingly. I don't know why. Perhaps it's because of that full spectrum of the Tonka bean that's being exploited. Perhaps they've made like arrangements to have like those brighter notes that, I don't know, but it works. It actually works. A lot of fragrances do work like in high heat. This one I was like spraying quite a lot, like because it's a sample, you never really know. And I was like, oh shit, maybe it's gonna be cloying, maybe it's gonna be very hard for people to get by. Not at all. It was super super nice, and it has a nice projection. It has like, and it has a long lasts. It lasts for a long time, and it's, and you never go nose blind with that fragrance. It's amazing. I don't know why, because there's so many fragrances out there, even the like super strong ones. Sometimes you just go nose blind, you just don't smell it anymore, and you're like, am I wearing fragrance? And people are like, yeah, yeah, you're wearing that strange zoologist scent that everyone despises. And you're like, oh, sorry then. No, I'm just kidding. But this one, you never go nose blind. And the weirder part is that even Atlas, which is their blue scent, one of the blue scents, has that same technology that they worked on. I don't know what it is, but it you never know, go like you never go nose blind to it. I go nose blind to Invictus. I went nose blind to Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Like, let's be honest, but this one was like keeping around all the time. That brightness, you know, the top notes. You don't go nose blind to the top notes. They just don't disappear. They're there. And for Continuum, it's the same thing. You get the full fragrance for the whole day, and then when you wake up, you still have that super nice Tonka bean and that little hinge of tobacco that just remains. It's amazing. It's like, I'm in love. Sometimes someday I'm gonna buy that stuff. Anyway, Spread love and spray love. Bye bye.